Hi everyone, and welcome to Be True, my podcast about the writing I love and the writing I do. I promise I won't rhyme the whole time. I'm John Tessitore, and today a section from my new, long, single poem chapbook called Terminal D. You can find Terminal D and all of my work at johntessitore.com. If we're to believe the back cover, which I wrote, and so I have no reason not to believe it, Terminal D is a poem about the self-persistent, the self-unshakable, the paradox of one, to be particular, and also limitless. I like that, but what does it mean? In more concrete terms, it's a stream of consciousness poem, an extended interior monologue of a man who finds himself in the loneliest, most in-between spot I can think of. The airport bar. Back to the back cover. Stuck in an airport, waiting among strangers, nursing a weak drink and a tired mind that has too much time to think. In truth, I love airport bars precisely because they force me into such an unhealthy state. As some practicing Buddhists may understand, for me the airport bar is a temple of monkey mind, of the ego running frantically like a monkey through its needs and desires, its loves and hates, frustrations, memories and plans. The airport bar is where the particular strengths and weaknesses of my own mind, my talent for associations, my own unique relational kind of thinking, become apparent to me. In between destinations, alone, it's just me, with myself, for good or ill. So Terminal D is a single chapbook-length poem without a break about the mind in isolation reaching out for meaning. Here's just a bit. Because there is an outside, even here, a beyond us, a sky that is not the same as the one we cross. It is always fixed above us, and there it never thins. The big, blue, unknowable, conceived, without sin. Not the film of air that keeps us from floating into the expanse, but God's first face. I read his letters first. Journal entries of a working artist to his brother. They pushed against the limits of his room, reached through walls for open communion with another, searching, probing to find a gap for the light inside to break through and clarify a different kind of love, a love expressed in vistas of the mind. His paintings were vistas of his mind. This one orders a vodka. This one brushes crumbs from the counter. In preparing for this episode, I dipped into the book randomly, and this is the passage that caught my eye. You can do that with Terminal D, dip in randomly. It's part of the structure of the book. And I knew immediately that this is the passage I wanted to introduce to you today as a representative bit. It ends in location, at the bar, among the vodka and the crumbs. But even this short passage is an arcing journey. It begins with claustrophobia, or at least with the desire to get the hell out of the airport and get outside, because there is an outside, even here. A sky just past the ceiling, which is the point of the airport, really, the sky. But that's not the sky the poem wants. Not the sky to cross in a missile with wings. Not the sky on the way to somewhere, but the bigger sky. The poem wants the bigger sky. You see, this isn't a poem about desire. It's not about getting to Acapulco or the Maldives, or as the poem mentions several times, to Cadiz. It's a poem about yearning. I want to get out there. The poem yearns for God's first face. Then comes the associative mind. The relational thinking kicks in and lands on an artist's letters to his brother. An artist, like the speaker, who pushed against the limits of his room and yearned for open communication with another, that is, for connection. Also a guy who painted the sky. I'm sure you know by now, it's Vincent Van Gogh. I'm not going to say Van Gogh. A lonely guy in a room, painting skies, yearning for spiritual connection with the world outside. Writing this Van Gogh section was an important step in the process of writing Terminal D, because that's when I knew what the poem was really about, the yearning for spiritual connection. as the back cover says, quoting the poem, to be particular and also limitless. And isn't that the human challenge? It's not the challenge you'll read about in the news or see too often on TV, but it's one you may feel inside. It's what sends us to art, to religion, to sex. Not to politics or to work or to the store, but to each other. And it's what makes humans fraught and complicated creatures, easily perverted or diverted or ruined, which is also an important part of Terminal D, the disappointments that go along with a yearning that can't ever be fulfilled entirely. So when I was casting around for an epigraph for Terminal D, not that every book needs one, but sometimes a little quote at the beginning can do some work for the book and isn't just decorative. And when I was searching for that kind of an epigraph, I went back to Vincent's letters to his brother Theo and found this. I only wish that someone could prove to us something calming which comforted us, so that we stopped feeling guilty or unhappy, and that we could go forward without losing ourselves in the solitude or nothingness, and without having to fear every step or to nervously calculate the harm we may unintentionally be doing to others. And there it is. The anxieties we all feel just for being ourselves persistent, ourselves unshakable, the paradox of one. Here we are, alone, in between destinations, our minds reaching out, reaching out to vistas of the mind. And so, in the hope that you never stop yearning, this is John Tessitore concluding another installment of Be True. If you've listened this long, thank you. You can find all of my work, including Terminal D, at johntessitore.com. But first, cliche or not, Google some Van Gogh if you can't visit one in person. I know, you already have the coffee mug. But still, he's pretty amazing. Special thanks to me for today's theme music, which I call A Chord. Maybe we'll talk again. And if you enjoyed this little podcast, leave some stars or a review and tell your friends. In the meantime, I gotta feed the dog. All right, Luna, I'm coming.